Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pack Leader Podcast. This is Season 4, Episode 2. I'm here with the Goon Squad, as you can see. Not really. It's our team captains for this year. I thought it'd be awesome to have them on the show. And so later on in our Pack Leader segment, we're going to dive into an interview with these guys, have them talk a little bit about the season, and got a couple questions lined up for them. But before we do that, fellas, how we doing?
Good. Doing pretty good.
Pretty solid. Awesome. I know usually my partner in crime, Bryant Blanton, is here helping me out, but he's on dad duty today with his daughter being a chaperone. So got to do it without him, but I got some pretty good help in these guys. How y'all feeling coming off Hurricane Helene?
Feeling pretty good. No Sheep Week was pretty tough this year. Hurricane Helene made it a little tougher because half of us didn't have power, but that's all right. Yeah. I mean, we got hit pretty hard. I think everyone underestimated it. Had us practicing in the dark a little bit there.
Yeah, I feel like I did get hot. I feel like it was kind of a cool, like not cool. It wasn't a good thing that it happened, but it was kind of an interesting change of pace. Like your whole day just got switched over and changed, so it was kind of weird to go through.
It was nice not having classes too.
When did we go back? That Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah. They did a full week.
Yeah, and I mean at one point there, I know. So Helene actually hit that Friday before. Saturday, Sunday, we were trying to put the pieces back together, and then we didn't even know if we were going to have No Sheep Week because of just everything. So I think we had to cancel that first workout, but then we jumped into it, and it went pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah.
But nice, man. Well, I want to jump into next segment, all things Newberry Wrestling. I want to say thank you to everyone who picked up the phone last night and got back to us through text. It was our 6th annual pin pool launch through the phone-a-thon. Amazing success. We ended the night with $311 per pin in pledges, which is awesome. And then right before we started this show, I checked and we're at $360 per pin. So we're off to a really good start. Of course, the pin pool isn't over just because the phone-a-thon is over. You guys will have an opportunity to pledge all throughout the season. Those pledges aren't needed to be fulfilled until after the season. But as of last night, like I said, we're at $360 per pin and 113 different unique members that have pledged throughout all the different levels. This year we added a different tier. We went to an Olympic level pledge that you can pledge now, and I'm pretty excited to say we've had 3 or 4 that already stepped up to do that. I think our largest pledge last night was $25 a pin, so that's pretty cool. What did you guys think? How did you think it went?
I feel like it went pretty good. Everybody was pretty engaged. A lot of times people aren't the most excited to make those phone calls just because it's always an awkward conversation.
Right.
But I feel like especially a lot of the freshmen stepped up and they actually had some fun with it. Saw some smiles, they were laughing. So I feel like it went really well.
It was fun seeing y'all call like the more recent alumni, like Shoop. It was funny. Shoop actually called before, so we do a little prep, each year before. We got 18 new faces that have never done the pin pool before, so we do practice phone calls. This is kind of what a scripted conversation should look like. And Shoop had actually called during the middle of that, so we just used him to be the guinea pig and the example, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, I could tell y'all are having fun as you were connecting with some of those more young alumni. So. I wanted to talk a little bit about the NCAA championships. So this year is in Indy. It's a great city to be in. There's plenty to do in the area. And you probably saw my email if you're keeping up with Newberry Wrestling about just wanting to make sure we have the biggest crowd possible out there. On my end, I'm working to secure a spirit bus that we can take from Newberry for anyone that's a Newberry College student athlete. They want to hop on that bus, they can go and they don't have to worry about, the logistics of traveling and that type of thing. But if you are an alumni and or a parent who would like to help coordinate just the logistics of tailgates, socials, making sure like we're all sitting together in the same section, please reach out to me directly because I think these guys would agree. This is a really special group we got this year, and to have those who matter most to us out at the NCAA championships in scarlet and gray, I think that will make a huge difference. Would you say?
Yep.
So like I said, if you want to do that, please just get in touch with me. You can either DM on social media or you can email me d.brown@newberry.edu and would love to put you to work as far as helping with that. So next thing, we have our intra-squad match. Guys, tell the guys when is that?
Next Friday.
Next Friday? Next Friday on October 25th. So mark your calendars and RSVP if you haven't. We got 2 things going on. It's a fun weekend for us. Not only do we have our intra-squad on that Friday, it's also our 3rd annual alumni weekend. And so we'll have tons of alumni back in town to celebrate Newberry Wrestling. It's our 20th season at the NCAA Division II level, so a huge season for us. But also, it's these guys will be scrapping for starting spots as we've made our way through Wrestle Off. So mark your calendar for that. It's going to be a blast. We have tailgate going from 4:30 to about 6:45, and then we'll start wrestling on the baseball field at 7 pretty promptly. We got cheerleaders, we got a live DJ, food trucks. There's be some vendors out there. So we've worked really hard to make this a cool event for you, and just hope to see you guys there. Awesome. So next segment, I wanted to jump into the interview with these guys. I'm going to start down here with Reed. Just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, what year you are, and what's your major.
So my name's Andrew Reed. I'm a junior this year, and I'm from Altoona, Iowa.
All right, my name's John. I'm from Yulee, Florida, and I'm a junior, redshirt junior, and I'm going to be the future leader of the pin pool. Thanks.
My name's Dayton Fields. It's my 6th year. I'm a... Come on now. It's my 6th year. I spent 3 years at a junior college. Now I'm 3rd year here. I'm from Seneca, Missouri, and I'm in grad school right now.
My name is Kale Schrader. I am a 5th year. I spent 2 years at a junior college. My major is business administration.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you guys joining the show. For those that don't know, I'll just provide a little bit of context. We have 2 kind of modes of leadership within our program. We have a leadership council. Me and Coach Blanton, we pick those guys, and they serve as just different branches to help with different branches of our wrestling operations. But then we have our captains, who you see here, and so that comes internally from the team. They vote these guys. They're observing them through the preseason, in social situations, academically. These are the 4 guys that have been voted, to lead the team in the capacity of captains. And so I thought it was important. I know usually we're interviewing all the names you see on the wall, the past of the program, but these guys are the present and the future, and I thought it was important to get them on the show, put their faces in front of you so we can get to know a little bit about them. And I wanted to start off with this first question, and anybody can take it. What does it mean to you guys to lead Newberry Wrestling as team captains?
Yeah, it means a lot. Newberry's been historically pretty good wrestling-wise, and just to be leading a program like that just means a lot to us.
Yeah, for sure. And it's big too, making sure to set the way to these freshmen as well. We got a lot of new faces, like Coach said earlier, 18. So with a lot of new people, there's a really good way to set a culture in a room that can carry on for seasons. Just sometimes programs will have culture struggles, different age groups, different people, different places. So being able to really set a large group their standard for the rest of their career is going to really help a lot, and kind of show them, lead by example, show them how they should roll through college. So being a captain this year is definitely going to help.
Absolutely. Do you guys feel any, because I'll address the elephant in the room. Kel had mentioned that historically, you look at the wall, you look at all the trophies and everything, we've been pretty good. But I think elephant in the room is that we have been, full transparency, a little down in the last couple of years. Do you guys feel any sense of pressure as the captains this season, knowing that we have some pretty good pieces in place for this season? What you talk to me about feelings on that?
Yeah, the goal is always, regardless, to do well, regardless of what the expectations are. So that's what I just say. The goal is to do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think you should really have to feel pressure leading the team. I think our 10 guys that we're going to be putting out there are going to be locked in. We're going to be out there to wrestle. And even if they're not one of the 10, they're still in there busting their butts every day, making each other better. And I think with that, it's going to come success. So I don't think we really need to feel pressure. Just go out there and compete to the best we can.
Absolutely. And speaking of competing to the best of your ability and being successful, what do you guys think for this group that we have, 24, 25? What are some keys to success for us this year?
Even though we're really young, we have a lot of talent. At 25, 33, 41, 49, 57, they're all under sophomores. So, if you think about that, that's pretty impressive that we're going to probably have those 5 guys or 6 guys stepping in the lineup as redshirt freshmen, and Keegan's going to be a sophomore, so Keegan and Kale. So I think that's big that we have those young guys that are willing to step up for us.
Definitely. What about you guys? What are keys to success for us this year?
I feel like some keys to success are really just making sure we stay locked in the entirety of the season. I know sometimes it's easy to say, hey, I'm going to go out there, do this, this, and this, and then you get to Christmas break and you're like, oh man, we're halfway through, it's a long season. It's a long, grueling season. You're wrestling a long time. And I feel like the key is going to make sure to get everybody engaged the entirety of the season and try to keep everybody locked in, because as soon as somebody checks out, it's really hard to bring them back into the hard work that we need to get done and the vibe we have going on in the room. So just making sure we keep everybody motivated and ready to go all season is a huge key this year.
Definitely. And that energy is contagious too, right? Like you said, the minute one guy checks out, he's at practice because he doesn't really feel like being there, and that negativity spreads to his partner, that group spreads to the group beside him, and that spills over into outside of the room and everything else you're doing. So I think that's huge. What about you guys? Anything else?
I think one of the biggest things is just maintaining a brotherhood. I think we've done a pretty good job this year just meeting up as a team outside of our workouts, outside of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting to know each other on more of a personal level, and just going out there and competing with the mindset that you're doing it for your brothers. It's completely different, and I think maintaining that brotherhood is going to help a lot.
Definitely, it's a lot more investment and willingness to fight for somebody on a personal level than somebody that you don't really know, and it's a lot easier to give up in those moments of adversity that you might fight a little harder. It's like, man, I know this guy, I know his goals, I know he's bought in. I'm gonna give it every single thing I got in this moment. Awesome, dude. So the incoming class, and we kind of talked a little bit about this, the incoming class of 2024 saw 18 new faces. I want to say that includes 4 transfers, and the rest of them were true freshmen. Let's just talk a little bit about what else comes to mind when you think about that huge class, because traditionally speaking, we're only bringing in about 7 to 10 guys, but with COVID happening and graduating influx of people last year, I think we graduated 15 or 16 guys last year. That's why that class was so big. What comes to mind when you think about pretty much being half and half new faces and half returners?
I think it's a bit of a challenge, just getting everybody up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think through preseason and through No Sheep Week, we've done a really good job. And it's like Dayton said earlier, it's just kind of passing on that tradition and the culture to these younger guys and just getting them locked in.
Definitely.
And honestly, a lot of these young guys surprised me this year too. Historically, programs I've been a part of, sometimes the freshmen are a bit of a struggle. It's kind of difficult to get them on the same page, especially with that transition from the high school competition level to college. A lot of freshmen come in, they think they're the toughest kid in the room as soon as they step in, and they kind of have a rude awakening those first few weeks. Like, man, everybody here is pretty good. Like, this is not an easy task. So I feel like the freshmen took that really well this year and took it with grace instead of trying to fight people or be upset about it. It was more of a, okay, I can learn from these guys. I can grow. I can get better. And that's a huge first step, because if you have those kids that don't take that as well, it takes a month or two before they actually buy into what you're trying to provide for them and trying to show them. So having them already ready to go and ready to learn has been massive this year.
Definitely. Agreed. Anybody got anything to add to that? Outside of, wanting to win, wanting to do well, and get guys on the podium and win national championships, and if that's part of your answer, that's fine too, what are y'all's expectations for this season?
I'd say the first thing is we've got Lander at Yorktown. Beat Lander.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a huge one. I think everyone's excited about, first of all, just that event in general. It's a really cool event to be wrestling on that flight deck, but even more cool that we get to wrestle conference and region rival, right?
Yeah.
So
one of the easiest ways to hunt down goals too, just one step at a time, not looking too far ahead. So I try to focus on just being competitive all the time as much as possible, going in the room, being competitive, getting better. And then I'm not really looking at certain events throughout the season. I'm just looking at that next thing. When's the next time I got to make weight? When's the next time I got to wrestle? What am I going to do when I go there? And just keeping my goals short, because the more short-term goals you have, the easier it is to build up to a long-term goal. And just staying locked in. It helps, instead of thinking, oh man, I've got 16 weeks until this tournament and this is the big one. No, I got a tournament next week. I'm ready to go. This is what I need to do before then. That really keeps you focused and in line.
Absolutely. What about you guys? Anything else to add to that one? Cool. Switching gears a little bit, been talking a lot about the season. We've had a really good semester recruiting-wise. I'm excited next month once he actually can sign his paper, a verbal commit that we got out of the great state of New Jersey, which I think both of y'all are from Jersey, right? Yep. Hey, I'm trying to pull more this way, but got off to a really good start for the class of 2025. And we're looking forward to keeping that rolling. But my point, that I'm getting to is, what do you think you would say to any of these high-level recruits that we've been on this semester, reasons they should come to Newberry? Why us over Lander? Why us over some of the other top programs that they might be looking at?
get on board because like we're doing good stuff this year, and it just goes back to we're really setting a culture that I think is gonna be a big part of Newberry Wrestling for years to come, and we've got a younger team that's willing to learn, and so I'm excited for this year and more years of Newberry Wrestling.
Absolutely.
I think it's just how tight we are as a team. Like in the past my 3 years here, this is the closest team we've had. So I think that they see when they come on their recruiting trips and they see us all being a team and being a family, like they really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something like when we have a kid from Iowa or Missouri or Pennsylvania, like they see how close we are as a team. I think that's what gets them on board.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that too. What about you guys?
A lot of young talent. In years past, we've graduated a lot of talent, and it's been kind of a reset. This year, we're still going to graduate some pretty good talent, but the young talent that we've got are going to be here, and they're going to stay, and they're going to keep getting better. I mean, you've already got the triplets that are all tough. They've got at most 4 years more than likely here, and that's still a long time for them to keep getting better. And they've got a good head on them, good mindset, and they're going to be ready to go. And all throughout the room, there's all kinds of different guys that are younger and hungry and ready to go. So it's not just this is a 1 year thing. This is a building thing that's going to keep on building.
It's a 4 year thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This is going to keep on going and keep on going. It's not just what we leave. And after this year, for me, it's my last year. There's still more here, and there's a lot more here, and they're going to keep getting better, and that's an exciting thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Outside of wrestling, for people looking, you guys are from Missouri, by way of Oklahoma, Iowa, Florida. We got guys on the roster from Kansas, literally everywhere. What do you think are some of the biggest draws for guys up north and out west to South Carolina?
The warm weather, baby. The warm weather. Yeah. It's funny seeing everybody complain. Like this morning, one of the guys came up to me, "Man, why are you wearing shorts? It's 40 degrees outside." I'm like, man, this is like a nice, crisp September afternoon in Missouri. Like, this is not anything I'm not used to. So for sure the weather. It's a huge difference.
Definitely.
I really enjoy just the campus as a whole. It's smaller. I know all my professors. Like, it's just a little more personal feeling. And you're around a lot of like-minded people. We're 80% athletes on campus. So most of the people you interact with, like I said, are like-minded. And that just helps you stay on track and meet your goals a little better.
Agreed.
And you meet everyone here. Like, I walk down the street and I see 4 or 5 people that I know from classes or from just getting to know them a little bit better. And it's just an awesome time. Like, you just know everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the biggest draws for me too, having wrestled here.
No, go for it. Kind of piggybacking off of Kale too. I mean, we got 1,500 students and 24 athletic teams. So there's a lot of different things going on here and a lot of athletes. So just knowing that everybody is on the same page and all here for the same thing, get across the stage and go compete at a high level, those are 2 huge draws for me when I was coming here. Because a lot of schools I looked at, it's like 50-50. Professors aren't as willing to work with you. Class sizes are a lot bigger. And all those things here, small class sizes. Professors know that you're you're an athlete. You got things going on, and they're going to give you a quality education and work with you as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people think about Newberry, and when you mention the fact that we're smaller, it's like, I don't necessarily know if I want to go to a small school in the middle of nowhere, but, we're not in the middle of nowhere. We're 40 minutes, maybe a little longer, depending on construction, but they are widening that highway, which is for the best. But we're about 40 minutes from the capital city. Columbia is right up the road, stone's throw away. So if you want to get away for a movie or a restaurant or bowling or whatever, it's pretty easy. I think most of y'all in here on your recruiting visits, we got to Columbia. So it is not tucked away in the middle of nowhere. You got on one side the capital city, on the other side Greenville. There's lakes, there's fishing. Y'all golf all the time.
Golf, fish.
So
Charleston's only 2.5.
Right. Yeah. So
Myrtle's 3. So I mean, the beach is close.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
No shortage of things to do. So, that's awesome. Just wrapping up, last year was a really good year for us. You're coming off of a year where you qualified for the national championships for the first time, redshirt freshman. You qualified also. You are a JUCO national champ, and you're qualified in 2023. We talked about team goals. I just kind of want to wrap up with what y'all's individual goals for the season are.
Undefeated national championship. That's what I've been chasing since my freshman year. I wanted to be a four-timer. Fell short of that last year, so it's time to move on and push forward.
Absolutely. And you're moving up a weight class, so
healthy season.
Talk about how you feel like that will contribute to your success.
Last year was more focused on getting the weight off and not focusing on my skills and techniques. So I think this year is a lot more focused on perfecting my skills, and I think I still have some of the best skills in the room, so might as well keep adding on to them.
Absolutely. I think that'll be a huge key to success for you, is focusing on skill development more so than the weight cut. So that's awesome. What about you, J-Rock?
Yeah, win every match.
That's simple.
That should lead me to a night title.
I like it. I like it. Do you have any takeaways from last season? Like, as you think about how you finished last year and what your goals are for this year, what are some of your thoughts going into the season?
Well, one of the main things is I could scrap with anybody, so just going out there and beating everybody.
I like it.
Yeah, I should have pinned more people. The goal is 20 pins this year.
How many did you have last year?
It was like 12 or something.
Gotcha. You see, you're coming for Blanton's record, right?
That's the goal.
How close are you?
No, I'd have to get 20 this year and next year.
You better go to a few more opens.
Hey, you ain't got to tell him twice. You already know he's going to sneak off to an open ballot,
For those that don't know, every time I send out like a list of preferred opens to all of the red shirts, this dude, he'll text me or email and be like, "Can I go?" Just so he can get more matches and catch Blanton's pin. What is his record? What does he have?
It's like 69 or something.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like
Yeah, we might slide you into the Newberry Open, help you get a few extra stuff. Dayton, what about you, man? You're coming off a year where you had an awesome season. I think you were ranked as high as top 10 the year you were in our lineup at 174 pounds. So now that you're sliding back into the lineup as a national qualifier, knowing how close you were to some of the top guys in the country, what are your goals this year?
I mean, I was looking back on a lot of those matches, and me and Reed wrestled a lot of the same people back to back. I beat a lot of guys that were right there, or even All-American, or I had close matches with them. And I wasn't the healthiest that year. I was dealing with some issues, body issues. I got those things fixed last year, so ready to get after it. And I think my big thing this year is being dominant. If I go out there and dominate every match, I shouldn't have any issues. So I just want to go out there and make sure I am dominant the entire match, and I go out there and take care of business every time.
Absolutely. I like it. And I like how your approach, too. A lot of times we think, March, national champion, but, let's just win the day first, right? Like, let's win today, and then when we do it, wake up, repeat tomorrow, and then by the time we get to March, we're accustomed to winning because we've been winning every day all along the whole time. JUCO national champ, coming off of medical red shirt year, not necessarily behind D. Rice, but definitely brought into it so that you guys iron could sharpen iron, right? What are your thoughts on this season with people expecting a lot from you, but you haven't had an opportunity yet to show what you have to offer?
Yeah, so it's kind of the same mindset as Dayton. We've known each other for a long time, so I'd say we kind of have the same thoughts on a lot of stuff. But it's really just I'm going to go through the year wrestling the next match as tough as I can, and just getting after it. The end goal is obviously a national championship.
Yeah.
But I also plan on having 21 pins.
So challenge accepted.
Yeah.
All right. See about that.
Nice. Cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you guys joining us on the show. It's awesome to be able to serve y'all, and it's awesome to have y'all leading our team because I think I can't think of four better guys to do it as far as upperclassmen go. So I appreciate it. I wanted to jump into our next segment, which is we just call it everything else. So general news and discussion on everything Newberry College has going on. And along those lines, I wanted to mention the games that we got coming up this week. So Monday, field hockey was competing against Wingate. That happened this past Monday at 6 p.m. But as of, what's today? Thursday?
Yeah.
All right. So as of today, the only thing we got coming up is Friday. We have field hockey versus Maryville at LMU. That's at 1. Women's soccer will be at Allen down in Columbia. That's at 1 as well. And then volleyball will be at Lincoln Memorial at 7. So pretty busy Friday. And then Saturday, field hockey is at Lincoln Memorial. women's and men's tennis is at Converse. Football is at Catawba at 6 p.m. Volleyball at UVA Wise, and men's soccer at Wingate. So, don't just support Newberry Wrestling, support all Newberry sports, because, we root for each other, and when one team does well, everyone does well. So I wanted to chat with you guys too. The national championship sites for D1 and D2 been released for the next few years. Sioux Falls, what are our thoughts on going back to Sioux Falls in 2026?
It's close to home for me, so
yeah,
I'm not too sad about that.
Right.
I'll be completely honest. I'm tired of Iowa.
Yeah.
I can't stand that state. I'm sorry. Every year in JUCO, we went to the same venue. Basically, it wasn't always the same venue, but nationals for JUCO was in Iowa, in Council Bluffs,
Yeah.
every year. And I am tired of Iowa.
That's
I will
crazy.
not lie.
Sioux Falls isn't in Iowa. It's in South Dakota.
Also,
Is it in South Dakota?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, never mind. It's basically Iowa. It's the same. It might be a little bit worse if you think about
I
it.
just need to erase the line and make it all one state.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Well, I get PTSD when I think about it, because I remember when we were there in 2020, and I got a call from my AD saying, "Hey, man, they're canceling the national tournament." So all my seniors that year were like, "What do you mean? Do we get next year back?" And they didn't end up getting that year back. But obviously, knock on wood, that won't happen in 2026. But in 2027, the finals will be, speaking of Hayden, Iowa, it'll be in Cedar Rapids at the Allegiant Energy Powerhouse. And then in 2028, the final site will be in Pittsburgh, which I'm really excited about.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, talking about like a big city. That's one of the bigger ones we've had it in. So those are the final sites for D2. For D1, 2027, we're going to be in St. Louis, which has been there before. And then 28, Minneapolis and Minnesota, it'll be there. I kind of wanted to pick your brain. That's a cool place to have it at, because they're going to have it at the
Viking Stadium.
At the Viking Stadium. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You think it'll be good for the sport, bad for the sport?
I think it'll be awesome for it.
Yeah. Because starting to think about like wanting to grow. I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely more seating in there than what
I think D1s are usually pretty packed. We went to a couple that I think it was the Big 10 or Big 12 championship one year, and there was just about every seat taken. So I think having that big venue is going to get a lot of people in there.
Definitely. And I think with there being more supply, like the demand will cause the cost to be a little bit lower. So I think
More people will start to go to
I
it.
think a lot more people will try to go to that one. I mean, I might try to go. So nice. Well, yeah, that's all we kind of got for you as far as that goes. Just wanted to wrap up. I just remember whenever we were talking about the pin pool, for those who really aren't familiar with that, that's basically our fundraising campaign for the season. We enjoy doing it because it's super wrestling focused, super wrestling specific, and you got to pin in order to make some money. And so basically, supporters of the program can pledge to give a specific dollar amount for every pin that we get. So if John's mom says, "Hey, I want to give $1 for every pin Newberry Wrestling gets," and we end up the season finishing with 90 pins, then you would just make a gift of $90. It's tiered off so that you have incentives for pledging at a higher level, and all that can be found on our website. But pledges don't have to be fulfilled until the end of the season in March, after the NCAA tournament, when we have that final count. One question that we get a lot, and that we got a lot last night on the phone-a-thon, was, how many pins can we expect to get? Last year we had about 102. We did have 102 pins. I included the ones that me and Blanton got in the Newberry Open. So full transparency. But this year we are not wrestling, and we expect to get about 80 pins, 90 because we're doing one less open. And we keep a running update going to you every month. So I shoot out emails. I'm announcing where we're at on the podcast every month, and it's also kept on social media. So from month to month, you'll have a pretty good idea of where we stand as far as the pin count goes. But if you didn't get a call last night, or if you didn't get an opportunity to pledge, you can hop online to our social media. It's linked on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and it's also a link on our wrestling webpage too, so you can support. We'll be running the campaign all throughout the season. Like I said, we're at $360 per pin. Last year, what did we finish with? 5?
I thought we were at like 4 or something.
4, yeah, just under. Actual pledges received about $450 per pin. So anything around that would be awesome, because I was showing them last night in the phone-a-thon meeting. The dollars really do go a long way when it comes to supplementing our annual operating budget for travel. Feeding these guys, putting them up in hotels, recruiting, gear. We got some pretty sweet gear packages coming in. So your dollars are going to work and helping provide a really good student-athlete experience for them. So we appreciate everybody that's joined. Thank you for listening, and if you haven't given us a follow on social media, please do that today. But I appreciate having you guys on, and looking forward to having a good season.